Good day everyone, this is Alvin again from the Philippines, and today we are going to review the first semifinals of the SupraChat for Miss Supranational 2021. So, as what I've said earlier, yesterday, the first semifinals, the four ladies already competed for the semifinals of SupraChat, and one of them will advance to the top 24. And let me just remind everyone that voting is now open for only 24 hours, and right now when I upload this video, only a few hours left before the voting ends, so make sure to vote for your favorite candidate. And since this is going to be a long discussion, let's begin right away. So what I love about these semifinals is that there were 4 questions, and all these 4 ladies were asked the same question, which is good because it would be easier to compare who really did well in this round. Well, there were 4 questions, and question number 1 is the biggest lesson that they learned while they were spending their time with their fellow contestants. Question number 2 is what do they want to be remembered as, and what will they do to achieve that if they don't win. And number 3 is related to climate change, and in a minute they need to convince the people listening that we need to start in making change now. And question number 4, we've heard that action is more important than words. Is there a scenario where words are more important than action? Now, let's begin with the first candidate, which was Venezuela, Valentina Sanchez. Well, her answer in her first question alone is already a strong warm-up on how amazing she is as a speaker. What's amazing about Valentina is that she speaks so calmly but confidently at the same time. She's so composed and she speaks with passion in what she says. The second answer definitely showed why I love Valentina from the very start. It is already given that she can walk strongly on stage, she's a strong speaker, but it is so brave of her and inspiring of her to share her story about her mother and her grandmother who lost because of suicide. And though they were the reason why she is the reason why we are having pageants like Miss Supranational. Valentina Venezuela is a woman who is using her platform of pageantry to echo important message to the world. I can no longer express how impressive her response was because that was just so beautiful. Her third response showed how knowledgeable she is as a candidate. Starting the statement by saying that there is no planet B was very powerful. If you were listening, you will really be convinced right away by her response. It was very powerful, and she mentioned this before, that solving these problems is like solving a puzzle. We are all playing a very important role, and that is such a beautiful analogy, and I have talked that before in the first round of the SupraChat. That was a beautiful comparison, which is actually realistic. And oh my gosh, all I can say is her ideas and the thoughts that she shared is just way ahead of everybody else. And finally, her last response was as strong as the others because again, she made it personal by connecting it to her advocacy on mental health, and her response as well is very relevant to what is happening today. Overall, oh my gosh, Venezuela just made me so proud, and honestly the entire Venezuela as well must be very proud of her as their representative because she is very special. Everything about her on that interview is superb. I am really in love with how her responses are deeply rooted to the tagline of Miss Supranational, which is aspirational and inspirational. I just have to applaud her for that. Next we have Peru Celanchermoza. Her first response was short but direct to the point. Her second response was mainly focused on being herself. I love her personality in this part because we feel like we are seeing the real version of her, which is what her response is all about. I just wish she presented her response better because the responses were quite repetitive and just circling around one single thought, and that is being herself. For her third response, unfortunately, I didn't like it that much. I mean, if you pick out the important messages in her answer, like recycling, for parents to teach the children, those are impressive points. But then again, I didn't like how she is presenting her responses, and I wish there was more of that eye contact on the camera since she was asked to give a message, and I would have preferred more of eye contact because that would be a perfect way of connecting to your audience. And for the fourth response, I love her perspective when she said when our hearts connected because of the words we're saying. I mean, that was really good. I just wish the follow-up and the defense were stronger because it weren't, so that it could fully support her answer. Overall, it wasn't perfect. She's got great points in some of her messages and I liked it, but she really needs to work on presenting her responses in an organized way. One good thing about that is we definitely fell in love with her personality and that on those 2 rounds. Next we have Kenya, Fidelia Motunga. You know what I love about Fidelia is I just found myself smiling every time I listen to her speak because you know that her responses are coming from a place of love and sincerity, and I can really feel that. Her first response was really good and it was really sweet. I really have nothing more to say because it was more of a personal question. Her second response was so beautiful as well, especially when she mentioned that she wanted to be a person who spread the wings of kindness. I mean, the words that she's using, that is a beautiful way to describe it. And I love how she gave examples of simple, kind gestures that we usually ignore. For her third response, wow. How can she said that it was a difficult question when she immediately started by naming someone from her country as her inspiration who is connected to the conservation of Mother Nature and a winner of Nobel Peace Prize? Wow, she is very smart and I love that she picked an inspiration that is from her country. That is very important. Her message was also very powerful. I mean, this is how you give a message. Powerful, something that would caught the attention of listeners, and most importantly, a message that involves all of us to make sure that everyone will take responsibility and will take actions. Something happened there. And finally, her last response is the best way to answer it, by giving a simple scenario that everyone can understand. What I love about Fidelia is she knows how to give powerful answers and she always give a powerful ending to her responses. Overall, I just found myself clapping and wowed by her responses and by her performance. I mean, she's unbelievably amazing. And finally, we have Indonesia. Jihan, Elmira, she did. The way she responded to the first question was filled with so much confidence. I love her response about being patient and giving examples based on what she experienced in the pageant. When it comes to her second response, she started the response by saying that she wanted to be remembered as someone who spreads positive energy to the people that she surrounds herself with, and continued by saying that if she can't do that, she wanted to be remembered as a mother, as someone that they can look up to, and someone that they can consider as their role model. Honestly, as I listened to her entire response, I just wish she just immediately proceeded to her response about being a mother directly, because that response and follow-up was so beautiful, so strong, and so good. And it made me feel like if you listen to her entire answer, it made me feel like the first line of her response prior to that mother thing was no longer necessary. Her third response was filled with so many strong and beautiful points, but I am not sure if she's about to cry or she's nervous, because that's really the vibe that I'm getting. And there's definitely a huge difference with how she delivered her third response to the question compared to how she delivered it on the first response, where she sounded very confident with what she's saying. And finally, her fourth response was definitely the most beautiful moment and highlight of her performance, talking about hate speech was definitely connected to the experience that she experienced when it comes to cyberbullying. And I understand that she sounded so emotional, yet she was still able to display a beautiful smile, and that is such a beautiful sight to see. She was able to sit there smiling and looking strongly, and I truly commend her for that. So that's it. Those were my reviews for these 4 ladies. So congratulations to all of them. I will not reveal my complete ranking, but my winner for semifinal 1 is, R. Because I was able to determine my 4th place and my 3rd place, but I just love these 2 so much that I cannot break the tie. So my winner for semifinal 1, based on the responses alone, I am not considering who will get the most votes. My winners are Kenya and Venezuela. I believe these 2 deserves to win semifinal 1. But if you don't agree with me, then go download the Miss Supranational app and vote, because voting is 50%, while the judges' vote is also 50%. So your vote could potentially affect the entire result. So what do you think? Don't forget to leave your comments below. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and share the video as well. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe, because you'll be seeing more of these videos in the future. For now, thank you very much and have a wonderful day from the Philippines.